Hey everybody, I'm Jonas. Welcome back to the Normally Online podcast. Today we're going to just jump right in and get talking about some things we've seen with bad AI training. Damesco, do you got anything funny, any mishaps with AI that you've seen?
Um, yeah, I haven't seen them personally because the big one is obviously Google AI, where Google's now doing like generative AI answers to any search queries that you might have. I think that one hasn't made its way over to Europe, so I'm just seeing them on Twitter because people are posting the funniest results. And there's one from Drill, famed Twitter account Drill, says perfect, ready to go, ship it out. And the question was how to pass kidney stones quickly. And then Google threw back at him, drinking plenty of fluids such as water, ginger ale, lemon lime soda, or fruit juice can help pass kidney stones more quickly. You should aim to drink at least 2 liters of urine every 24 hours, and your urine should be light in color.
Oh,
That's a good
good.
one. That's wonderful. Yeah.
It's like very normal, and if you just fix that one word, it'd be like I don't know, sound more reasonable, but you just sneak in the little urine. Like,
Yep.
yeah,
Sneaking a little bit of urine doesn't hurt, I
just
think.
a little bit of 2 liters of urine.
A little 2 liters, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw one that this isn't as funny, but it is just like bad AI, which is also just bad people. Um a lot of AI that they use for like screening resumes has been shown to be ableist, and there was a study that went out about this, about how if somebody's resume hinted at them being disabled, AIs would be less likely to say that it was a good resume. Which also has me wondering, like, what's something that you have on a resume that hints at that? Is it like, oh yeah, I'm part of this like volunteer organization, or like,
It
I don't know.
screens that they've only worked at wheelchair accessible buildings.
Jesus.
God,
um,
searches up. Yeah.
well, a little side note here, but on your resume in the US, is it normal to put like a picture of yourself on there? No, right?
No. No.
No.
That's so interesting to me because these days I'm on LinkedIn more and more, which I don't know why I do it to myself. But there's a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn posting all day because they don't have much else to do, apparently. And a lot of them are like, yeah, I can just recognize European resumes from a mile away because there's always just a picture in there. And yeah, I mean, my resume has a picture on it. It's
Yeah.
just the way we do that. So AI will be more likely to throw me out, I think.
Because it identifies that you're European and therefore
Yeah.
don't work very hard.
Is that?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that. Is that considered a disability?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
put that in.
I'm sorry for being Dutch. Okay, I can't help it. I need 25 vacation days and unlimited sick leave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My favorite Google AI thing that I saw was someone looking up if Slenderman has a gay brother. And the Google AI came back with yes because someone's Instagram account had tweeted, "I'm Slenderman's gay brother. I like Menderman." So it was like, yes, Slenderman has a gay brother called I like Menderman.
It's canon now.
I think that like AI is super good for like, it's what you want from a D&D party member. They just yes and it, and they just like make shit up. It's like, hey,
Oh,
apothecary,
okay.
can I cure my ailment? The stone stuck in my kidneys somehow. And the apothecary shows up and goes, yes, drink 2 liters of urine. Should be light, and it should be good in no time. Like, that's what you want from a D&D party member, you know? In real life, not so much. That's a big distinction between between the two of them.
Yeah, that's gonna make nursing school a little difficult if you're getting all your answers from ChatGPT.
The
I
old
have
world
seen
medicine.
a resurgence of students being against ChatGPT Before, it was like, oh, use ChatGPT, you're never gonna have to write an essay again. And now it's like, if you use ChatGPT, you're a coward and a fraud to the educational institution who deserves nothing. And I was like, sick. I'm glad the kids are gonna be all right, maybe.
Apparently, yeah. Yo, speaking of learning, you guys know about microlearning, right? That's basically I think the idea behind Duolingo is
Yeah.
microlearning.
Yeah. I feel like everyone in their mid-20s tries out microlearning.
Yeah. So exactly on that topic, I think microlearning in general is, I mean, I think it's scientifically proven that it just kind of works, right? If you do a little bit every day, you probably remember more than if you try to study a lot in like 1 week.
Or
But
nothing
or
over a
nothing.
long period of time.
Exactly, because it's easy to build up a streak if you only are doing something 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And so I was getting an Instagram ad for these apps, Headway and Blinkist. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I think I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, so those are like you get a 15-minute book summary every day. And the idea would be that you learn quite a bit because you're going through an entire book, but it's in 15 minutes in one day. And I was skeptical, so I decided to try it out. And I think I was dead on the money because that shit is so stupid.
Okay.
It starts out with, what do you want to do? And I'm like, okay, productivity, mental health, like social interaction. Those are a couple of the ones I select, and it gives me a bunch of books that might be interesting for me to quote unquote read. And I don't even. I think one of the first ones was "Steal Like an Artist," which is a book that has been recommended to me, but because my brain is fried, I never got to reading it. And so I lay back. I'm laying in bed. I think I'm gonna learn how to steal like an artist. And now, if I was making an app like this, micro learning and going through a book, I would maybe do like a 2-hour summary chopped into 15-minute chunks, and so every day you go through a part of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But what they do is they genuinely just cram the entire contents of the book into a 15-minute chunk, and what you're left with is literally like the most basic Facebook meme get motivated type of stuff. So it's like chapter 1, don't be afraid to steal, because even the greatest artists stole. Michelangelo himself admitted that his inspiration was blah blah blah, and he stole from them. And then that goes on for like a minute and a half, and then it's like, chapter 2, how to steal. And I'm learning nothing. It's literally just someone telling me over and over that it's okay to steal, not giving me any actual pointers. I feel like the book itself should give me tips on how to steal like an artist. But this is not Duolingo. I thought this was going to be like the Duolingo of getting through a lot of books in a very efficient time span. Also at the beginning, it's like, how dedicated are you? And so I clicked on most dedicated, and it said 38 books a month. I went
So
through.
have you gone through 38 yet?
I've gone through 2, and then I canceled my free trial and
So
uninstalled the app.
Next time you're given one of those check boxes, don't choose most motivated or whatever.
I guess, yeah. I thought I could handle 2 entire books in a day, but maybe I was just overwhelmed.
I think the key for these microlearning apps is like, if they actually worked, you'd uninstall them, right? Because you just learn the subject you're interested in and be done with it. So they have to just string you along and make you think you're learning while you actually just hear BS that doesn't help you at all.
Well, I was curious because you have been using Duolingo rigorously for the past like 2 years, maybe even more.
Yeah, it's over 2 years at this point. And I'll say it, like, it doesn't work. It's fun. I definitely know a lot more Dutch than I did 2 years ago, but probably equivalent to 1 semester of like school learning,
right,
over 2 years, which is like, sure, that's better than nothing, but you could get through this info a lot faster if you actually learned instead of micro learned it.
Yeah, I think that's Duolingo has the reputation of just teaching you words, but nothing else. Like it teaches you no
Mhm.
actually usable sentences. I don't know. I personally don't have much experience with microlearning, but this was like my first time actually using one of these apps, and I was like, if this is how we're gonna be consuming books in the future, we are cooked, man.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, like usually the limiting reagent in terms of me getting through a book isn't like time. It's not like I'm like, oh man, if only I had more time to like read through this book. Usually it's just how much brain power I have. And it can be
Mm.
nice to have a little bit of fluff in your book as you're reading it so you can sit there and just like think about the thing that's been said. Uh, making that, blowing that up a little bit. I've been reading in the mornings. Yeah, just a little bit here and there, about 15 minutes too, but I'm not reading a book a day. I'm reading like a book every month and a half.
Yeah.
Productivity L.
But I've really enjoyed it because here's the thing, I read that book for 15 minutes in the day, and the rest of the day when I'm bored, I can just sit there and ponder what's going on in the book. I feel more in touch with the characters. I feel like I sort of have a better understanding of the writer's craft. I feel like I'm able to think in the framework that they want you to in the book. So I think it's really fascinating. I may not be getting through the book as fast as you would with your Blinkist or your Headway, but it feels more like I'm
Yeah,
entrenching it within my mind, like the neurons are wrapping around each
Mhm.
other. There's
because
it's
you're
solid.
you're actually digesting the contents of the book instead of getting the not even the spark notes of the spark notes. Also, by the way, being read to you by an AI voice. I can guarantee you
Classic.
that.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
want to
It's
pay a voice actor.
no, of course not.
but I do think that's a better way to consume media too, because I don't think that like the limiting factor is how much content you can consume. It's how much you can integrate into your thought patterns when you're not consuming that media. You can have all
Yeah,
the r/get motivated stuff you want, but if you like take to heart one little tenet that is posted that may not even be the best, but you feel that, that'd be great, you know?
it's kind of like the how Netflix introduced the whole binge watch thing, and how
Mm-hmm.
people
Yeah.
would just watch an entire season of a new show over the weekend and then forget almost every major plot point because they
Mhm.
just consumed without taking the time to reflect and also getting excited for the next episode.
Yeah.
And you lose the discourse. This doesn't so much apply to reading a book because typically you don't talk about it unless you're in like a book group where everyone's reading together. But like with shows, when you binge a show, half the fun is talking about what you just watched. And if you
Yeah,
just binge through the whole show in a weekend, you got to be like, "So how far are you? Oh, you're
yeah,
there. Oh, what's
yeah.
happened by episode 5? Can you give me a reminder just real quick? Oh, that turns I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but that turns
Yo, the ending of episode 4, though. Oh, you're only
Yeah.
on halfway through episode 1 because you have a child. Yeah, that makes sense. Guess I'll wait a couple of months.
I did binge a TV show this weekend though for the first
Oh,
time. I hardly
Oh.
ever
what?
watch TV.
Jonas?
Yeah, I went, you know what? I have a down day. I'm going to just get into a vegetative half game, half watching show state where I'm like slightly overwhelmed, but in like a chill way, you know?
I
Okay.
don't know what you mean, but
I
go
kn-
on.
that
Just
the ADHD brothers log on.
like, so I needed a game that was like sort of chill. So I played Slay the Spire, and I needed a show that was like a little bit chill, and I ended up choosing the Fallout show.
Yo.
So I watched that in one sitting, and I have any idea what happened? Not really, not anymore. Like a little bit. It was good. I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I enjoyed the show or if I just enjoyed like the state of being I had while consuming that show very quickly, while taking all the magnesium pills and caffeine that would just eject it out of my system immediately. Like,
Yeah, I think I also didn't consume Fallout the optimal way. I watched half the show on a train ride, a 2 hour train ride to my destination and a 2 hour train ride back. So I was also when I actually like watched the show at home, I was like, huh?
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Apparently the Fallout show just induces weird consumption methods. I think because each episode is a damn movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, because I was watching it before bed, and my sweet wife was in the room watching the psychos massacre everyone, the raiders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
she's like, this is gonna give me nightmares, turn it off. And so I did it, and I just never picked it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bloody one.
Yeah, it's one of those where, like, I'm used to gratuitous violence in video games, but then when a
Oh, hell
real
yeah.
person is doing it, it hits very different. Like
Mm.
me hitting a guy with a sword until he turns into chunks in the Fallout game. Yeah. Watching
I
someone,
love VATS. I
yeah,
love VATS.
watching it happen in real life. Oh shit, that was kind of like, that's messed up.
I think I have another layer of abstraction over that, where if I see it in a movie, I'm also just sort of like, yeah, it's a movie. Like, I'm very aware at all times that that's not real life or real people. But then if you ever see something in real life, like you ever get like a big cut that's just like really quite quite bloody, and then you're just like, oh no, that's really unsettling. Versus in the
Yeah.
show or in the game, you're like, haha, yeah, put a band-aid on it,
Yeah.
idiot. Like,
Yeah, now stick a finger in the wound. That's a classic little movie TV trope.
one thing that I was looking at, the sort of this online offline difference, I got a CPR certification recently,
Oh.
and that was for my personal trainer certification. There's like a bunch of little different like I don't know, there's like a skill tree for it, I guess, that you need to fill out the entire skill tree before you get to the personal trainer. With
The gamer
CPR,
trying to do CPR.
Oh shit, I don't have enough stamina points.
the thing with the CPR certification, though, is I feel like that's one of those things that really shouldn't be online, and it should be in person, just because it's like, yeah, here's all the rules, and like you don't really need to practice it. And
Wait, so you didn't like have a dummy to
no, there's
practice
no
on?
dummy. They just like gave you like a little sheet, and they were like, yeah, you just need to do like 120 beats per minute, like push like, if it's like an infant, you got to push like a finger length into their chest, and if it's like an adult, you're trying to crack their ribs, like
Oh.
really go
Mm.
for it. It just sort of feels like, the online one, you're trying to learn about how to read a book, you're sitting in your comfy armchair, you're like, oh yes, I'm gonna have to break this person's ribs and do it 120 times per minute and breathe into their mouth.
You're gonna
Yeah.
give them vibes-based CPR.
Yeah. And then there's this other one where they like have the AEDs, which are like the electric shock things that'll shock your heart back into beating. And they just sort of breeze over it. They're like, yeah, you just like put it on somebody and then like you just shock them and it's good. And I was like, it can't be that easy.
You have to yell
I-
clear. That's the one thing I know.
See, I think it is that easy because, like, you do it, you put it on there, and that shit either works or they die. Like, what else is there for you to do? You just give it a go and hope it works out.
I looked up a little bit more because I was like, it can't be that easy. It has to be on bare skin.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if they have hair on their chest, you have to shave it. So like this person who's like dying of a heart attack, you need to like shave their chest with like a little bit of shaving cream.
I
real
would be
quick, and then you're
fucked,
like,
bro.
okay.
Thank God I have my trusty Philips Norelco one blade here.
They include it in the AED kit. They give you that.
Really?
Yo.
They do. And they also give you scissors in case the clothes of the person are too tough to cut off.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I don't know. So I have that. I have that CPR certification.
Congrats.
I don't think it worked super well. If there was somebody that passed out, I wouldn't be like, yo, guys, I'm CPR certified. Let me handle this. I'd be like, yo, that dude just passed out on the ground. Like, what?
Someone's having a medical emergency on an airplane. Is there a doctor here? Is there a doctor? Jonas stands up. I'm CPR certified.
I did it on my path to become a personal trainer.
Do they have
Yeah.
chest hair?
Do they have chest hair? Or do they have a tight shirt or bra attached? Curious. I'll need to use my advanced knowledge to do this.
I'll need to use scissors. Too bad we're on an airplane and those are not allowed on the plane.
Yeah, I guess that like where that takes us. Are there any things that you see that are offline that should be online, or are there any things that are online that you really think should be offline, like that CPR certification training?
Well, I like the headcanon. So my headcanon is now that the CPR training was online because they just got tired of people doing the office bit over and over.
Yeah.
What's the office bit?
So they do CPR training, and I think the lady's like the beats per minute that you need to hit is "Staying Alive," right? The
Yeah.
the song,
Yep.
and one of the characters I haven't actually seen the episode, but he starts with the first verse. So he goes, "At first I was afraid, I was petrified," instead of the obvious bit.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, and I've never done CPR training, but from what I hear, that's a bit that's been done quite a few times in those trainings.
They do teach it with that song though. Like every single time I've had to get CPR certified, which has been a number of times throughout the years.
Oh,
Like
really?
doing lifeguard training is another place you need that. Every single time, they always tell you about that song. And like, if you're a 14-year-old now getting CPR certified, you're like, what are they talking about with staying alive? Like, what is this song? Like,
Well, see, now that you're in your mid 20s, if you did it on site, someone would be pulling out that joke. And I
yeah.
think they just wanted to prevent that.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's all online.
I wonder what popular song nowadays is 120 beats per minute that is going to like take
I've
over. It's like
I've actually
some Taylor
seen they keep
Swift,
a
like,
lit. Yeah, they keep a list of like
yeah.
new songs that come out at the whatever 120 beats per
Most
minute. So it's like,
popular 120 BPM
yeah,
songs.
so
Here we
they
go.
keep it updated so you can have a modern reference if you want it.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Bad Romance, Lady Gaga. All right.
Even that song's old by now.
TikTok, Kesha's TikTok. It's My Life by Bon Jovi is 120 BPM. No way.
I think it'd be funny if there was like the bottom two by Glorb is like 120 beats per minute or something, and you're sitting there like giving CPR while Mr. Krabs is going hard on the track.
That is a reference not many people will understand.
Yeah, I don't get it, but it sounded funny.
SpongeBob rap AI.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I do know that one. I just
Yeah.
repressed the memory.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Today's sponsor is a company that's been getting a bit of a bad stick recently. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by that piece of gum you stepped in on the sidewalk 3 years ago. They've been getting some bad PR, but with that piece of gum you stepped in, remember you can use that as an excuse to get some new sick shoes. Another thanks to sponsoring today's episode. Thanks, piece of gum you stepped in on the sidewalk 3 years ago.
And we are back.
One that is on this pop song that's 120 beats per minute is Good Time by Owl City and Carly Rae Jepsen. That's a
Dude.
song that I don't think I'd want to be given CPR to. Like, oh, it's always a good time, you know?
So, you don't have to sing the song out loud. Like you don't
You sing it in
you
your
don't
head,
need to
though. Like,
yeah.
you're singing it in your head, and you're getting, like, this very dissonant, like, reality and, like, what's happening in your mind. You're like, oh, good time. Like, I'm having a great time. Woo. And then you're like, there's this person that's dying under me.
I was standing before the pearly gates and I just heard Owl City and Carly Rae Jepsen. And then I got brought back to life. I don't know what it was.
So this isn't a certification necessarily, but just getting we just got a new car recently and had to go to the DMV, which is a major pain. And that whole process should be online. It is stupid. We show up, we pay a bill, and they give us a license plate. Why do we need to go in person for that? I can do that online, and you just mail me the license plate. I don't need to spend 2 hours driving around downtown, going to the tax office, going to the DMV. Man, I'm over it.
Oh, yeah. Here's one for you. Voting. I can't wait till they figure out a way to do that online because over here we have a lot of parties. Not to rub it in, it's not a two-party system, but
Mm-hmm.
we had the EU elections the other day, and I go to the voting booth. I get my ballot, and the dude in front of me was very confused. I think he was like 19, so it was one of his first times voting, and you're supposed to go into the booth, you unfold your ballot. There's like 30 parties on there with a big list of candidates. You select the one you like, and then you're done. You're done voting.
Mm-hmm.
This guy thought that he had to select a candidate for every party. And so he just didn't get to vote. Sorry, null and void. Get dice, try again in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So once they streamline that process and we can do it online, I'd be a very happy camper.
If the last US election is anything to go off of, that is going to take a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we do have like a digital ID that we can use to log into like government websites and all that stuff, which is a system that works pretty well as far as I know. So send it, bro. Let's give it a try. Let's mess up one election.
As long as you're okay with Big Brother always watching, it's like sick.
Yeah, sure, dude.
I don't know. That's just what I hear people say about whenever an American goes there. They're like, yeah, it's kind of weird. You just have a government number that's connected to everything you are. So just like be aware of that.
Don't we sort of have that too?
No. I mean,
No?
kind of.
Yeah, I was.
But it's like
I mean,
different.
we got a
though.
number that's like our entire identity that if somebody steals it, they can do untold damage to us.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's different.
It's just a little card that they give you at birth, and you hide it in like a treasure chest.
No, but for you guys, it's a freedom number, and for us, it's an
Yes.
oppression number.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get
Thank
it. I
you.
get it.
Last thing on the topic of like online versus offline that I feel like a lot of the times the things that should be online that are offline is just like slow, people not really jumping on the bandwagon or not having funding. I think the ones that are also interesting are when it's like somebody jumps on the bandwagon a little bit too quickly and is just like, this is how it's going to be now. And one of those is online concerts. You guys ever watched an online concert?
I actually did the other day, first time
Yeah.
ever.
I get the point. Like, I do get, like, if you can't make it, like, cool. But that's one of
I
those
didn't
things that
pay
being,
anything, by the way.
yeah, yeah. But, like, being in person for a concert is, like, a good part of the experience for me.
Yeah, I just watched the Kendrick concert where he played Not Like Us 5 times in a row, and every single time the crowd went absolutely insane.
Nice.
But you don't believe in the metaverse concerts?
I'm not a. I don't think so. I think that it's like
Yeah,
a
me neither.
concert.
Yeah. What about the ones in Fortnite? Are you?
Yeah, I don't know. The thing that really amazed me the first time I went to a concert, which was a Weezer concert when I was like 18, and they played "My Name Is Jonas," and I was like, "That's me." They aren't like us, bad.
No.
But just like the ground was just shaking because the music was
Hell
so
yeah.
loud. I was like, that's an experience you're not going to get unless you're like going through a magnitude 3.3 earthquake while you're listening to this song on your online concert.
Maybe you just don't have powerful enough speakers.
Yeah.
Turn your speakers down, bro.
Sounds like a skill issue, I guess.
Oh, can I give you one more for something that should be offline that is
Yeah.
online? But this one's just for the people. Video games, bro. What's with the always online? Get that shit out of my video games. I don't actually care that much, but people do, and I'm nothing if not a populist.
I would call that cowardice, but I support you.
Thank you.
Speaking of populists, or maybe the opposite, I have seen multiple Cybertrucks in person at this point, and each time is a surreal experience. Elon Musk has created a liminal space on wheels. And Damesco, you had some stuff to say about the Cybertruck, so I want to hear it.
Dude, I learned today that the Cybertruck is not allowed to be sold in Europe because it doesn't adhere to the safety standards over here.
Oh,
So I
good.
also learned it doesn't have bars to grab onto. So if you're in a crash, then sucks to be you. But I've been visiting the subreddit Cyberstuck,
Yeah.
which is absolutely incredible. And I'm, like many people, a hater of many of the things that Elon Musk does. And the Cybertruck is definitely one of them. But Cyberstuck is so incredible because it's mostly videos of people who own a Cybertruck who are just desperately trying to justify their purchase. So there's one video of this lady showing off the Cybertruck, but it's not even so much about the truck. It's about a little thing called the Cyber Vessel. Now, have
What?
you guys heard of the Cyber Vessel?
I know the video that you're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
I have not heard of this.
So the Cyber Vessel is a $50 stainless steel water bottle that it's kind of that Tesla sleek design, but what's so special about it is that it's specifically designed to fit perfectly in the Cybertruck cup holder. Now, one
Mm-hmm.
might question why you need a special Tesla cyber vessel for this. And then there's a video of a lady. First of all, she goes, "I love the attention to detail. The vessel shows your fingerprints, just like the Cybertruck," which obviously is something that most people would hate about the Cybertruck, is that it's covered in fingerprints.
Yeah.
But she tries to
And
spin it into a positive.
and your water bottle, definitely. Like, why would you want a water bottle covered in fingerprints?
Well, she just loves the attention to detail.
You just gotta double check sometimes to make sure someone's not yoinking your water bottle and drinking out of it.
Yeah.
You're like,
You dust.
hey, that's not my thumbprint.
Hold up,
Who's
bucko.
fucking with my vessel?
Yeah, let me check my vessel for prints. And then she goes, as you can see, it fits perfectly in the Cybertruck's cup holder. And the camera zooms in, and you can just see like the little flexors in her wrist and in her hand that she actually has to put some force behind it and shove it in there, and then also use some force to take it out again. So it doesn't even fit perfectly. It's such an amazing subreddit.
Yeah, so I saw two in person on one trip to Costco. It was mind-boggling.
Wow. Was it the Costco guys?
It might be. I don't
They
know.
seem like the type.
They do. And one of them, so now I've seen 3 Cybertrucks. I mean, 2 of them could have been the same for all I know. Because 2 had the standard gray refrigerator look to them.
Mhm.
And the third one, though, was painted white. And I got to watch him try to park that beast in the Costco parking lot. And he was struggling to get it into the spot, man. It was so funny.
Jonas, have you seen any in real life?
I've seen one. It was nighttime, and it just has like a singular LED bar,
Yeah. The
and it
unibrow.
looks,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like haunting. And like, I was driving with some buddies. We were coming back from a birthday party, and they're like, "Yo, it's a Cybertruck," and we are all sort of giggling because it's like, we just thought it looked stupid, so we called it a Cybertruck. And we go by it, we're like, "Oh shit, that's actually a Cybertruck. That looks just as ugly as we thought it would." Like,
Yeah. The first time you see one is like an experience.
yeah,
Because
you're
you're like,
"Holy,
wait, that actually looks like that in real, it looks weird in the pictures, but in real life it looks just as weird, if not
yeah,
weirder.
yep."
This is a classic the European mind cannot comprehend. But I don't have much frame of reference for how large it is.
Is big.
It's
Pretty
big. I mean, it's like standard truck size over here at least.
Yeah,
But it's the
that's what I kind
shaping
of
of
meant.
it that makes it look really messed up because it's
Right.
all angular and
And it
like,
also doesn't have the standard like trunk that a truck does, so it doesn't
yeah.
really look like a truck either.
Well, the
Um,
thing about the trunk is that it can carry like 6 bags of sand.
yeah, I saw
Yeah,
people
no.
on the Cyberstuck subreddit being like, "We're gonna go do truck stuff today," and they
Yeah.
load like 4 cases of water and like 2 bags of potting soil into it, and they're like, "Yeah." And it's like,
Yeah,
what?
the thing about the Cybertruck is it does real truck stuff.
It's
Yep.
like, no, that's called like putting that in the back of my 2-door sedan. Like,
Yeah.
like, what?
Also, the warranty gets voided if you take it through the car wash. Have you seen this?
I've seen a little bit of car wash discourse. I mostly saw people going like, well, I went through the car wash and there were no issues at all. Like that was a
Like that's a
flex.
flex. Yeah, like every other car can't do that. It's an engineering marvel. I saw a YouTube video. It's a Drew Gooden video where he rented one
Oh
to
yes, yeah.
just try it out. And he was like, the worst part of driving the Cybertruck is that you just feel the eyes on you at all times when you go anywhere. Like everyone is looking at you like you're a crazy person for driving this thing around.
Yeah. Didn't he also pay like $600 to drive it around for a
Yes.
day?
He paid a ridiculous amount, which I mean, I guess if you bought a Cybertruck, you got to do something to make it worth the purchase. So renting it
yeah.
out to people who just want to dip their toe in makes sense. But yeah, I just like the idea that you're like an evil celebrity that people just always look at with a scowl.
That's kind of what I wanted to get into, because the Cybertruck, among most things that Elon Musk actually does, obviously very like cyberpunk inspired. And does this motherfucker know that cyberpunk as a genre is mostly like a bad thing? You know?
I feel like that part of cyberpunk has been lost in the modern discourse. Like this is not a goal to strive towards.
It's usually it's very dystopian, and it's also the meme that's like the guy with the big eyes looking at a cyberpunk character going, "Whoa, cool jackets," and then missing all the other things like
super big corporations that are more powerful than the government, and like
Big Brother watching you, neural implants so that you can be tracked at any time.
Do you guys know what a good portion of like the cyberpunk aesthetic was based off of in real life? Because there's like a real life equivalent.
I mean, usually it's very Japanese, right?
There's this city. So Cyberpunk's like actually based off of this thing called the Kowloon Walled City, which was like a square mile of area that in China was it didn't have any rules. And because there were no laws, they just kept stacking like crates on top of each other and they just kept building upwards. There's no rules in this area, so they could just do that. And it would make it so there was like this crusty, really dark lower layer where there would be like market vendors and just like dripping, water from the top layer, or just like gross waste being thrown out. It got destroyed like 20 years ago or something like that. But it was like a seriously very interesting place and a lot of inspiration for the cyberpunk aesthetic.
Yo, and rent was only $35 a month.
Dude.
So
all crime was legal though. So I mean, like you walk in there.
I mean, it is what it is, man. Like,
I like how they took the aesthetic of this city, but then it's called the City of Anarchy as well. Yeah. And then they went, no, we're gonna go hard on the capitalism in our cyberpunk.
Like
I feel like a lot of cyberpunk is like heavy government, right? Like the government has super robots that they oppress everyone with.
It's either the government or just like megacorps.
Yeah, that's true. So.
Elon Musk, huh? What a guy.
What a guy.
I just wanted to ask if you guys would get a Neuralink at any point in time.
No, I wouldn't. Like, I feel like if you would have asked me at like 18, I'd be like, yeah, that's so cool. Technology's so amazing. But now, no, man, I'm good with like going to the woods every once in a while and just like resetting my mind.
Yeah, but with a Neuralink, you can go to the woods at any time. You just close your eyes or something. I don't know how it works.
That takes away the beauty of the woods if they're just always there in my head.
True.
I think it's one of those things that like if the Neuralink was designed with the best intentions and there was like some law that meant that it would stay with those original intentions or something like that, like that'd be very cool and like helpful for society. But like the enshittification of that would just be like you have ads waking you up in the morning. You just have like unless you pay $25, there's like a loud alarm that goes off at 2:30 that wakes you up and tells you about how good the new Gatorade is, and you're like, just trying to sleep, man.
And then you don't pay your Neuralink license, and the police shows up in a Cybertruck.
Yeah, and you can't even run away because it just like stuns your entire body.
Yeah, exactly. It just forces you to sit there and watch them.
Yeah, like best intentions, I think it would be sort of a cool device. I'm not saying I'd get one, but it has the potential. I don't think it's gonna play out to its full potential, though. I think it'll just end up being another shitty way to extract information and value from people.
Fucking true. I also would never get a Neuralink in my damn life. So, speaking of Neuralink and always being online, we already kind of posed the question in the bonus episode, but let's run it back. Dear listeners, if you've made it this far, please let us know, what do you think it means to be normally online? And then next episode we'll run through some answers and also give you our own definition. And with that, Jonas, you want to take us home?
Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. We wouldn't be doing this without your support. We really appreciate the comments that you guys leave and the time that you spend with us. Until next time, stay normally online.
Bye.
Bye.